To make accessing the cover for the engine easier, I'm going to take this seat out. It's very easy. 4 18mm bolts. Some of them will have a little cover like this, which we'll have to remove in a second, and some won't, such as this one at the front here. You can see the nut will be exposed down there, so let's go ahead and unthread it. There's one on each corner, so we'll just go around and remove them all. Nut number 2. On the back side, let's pull these caps off, and that'll expose the 2 rear nuts. Last one. Now I'm just going to lift the seat up, pull it out of here, tilt it back. There's wiring attached, but I'm not going to disconnect it. I'm just going to leave it as is. I went ahead and did the same thing to the passenger side, so I can have both areas clear to pull the doghouse off. And on both sides, on the driver's side, it's next to the gas pedal. On the other side, it's, well, the opposite. On the other side, it's, well, in the same area, just on the other side. Lift this flap up, and that's going to unlock the latch for the doghouse. The next thing I want to do is remove this knee panel. It's held on by 2 10mm bolts, one over here, and the rest is just push clips. So once those are out, we'll pop it off. Pull straight out. Take down the kick panel here, the knee panel, 2 10mm bolts. There's one. There's the second one. And at this point, you can just pull it straight out on it. At this point, grab it from the side, pull straight out. Okay. Underneath the center console / cup holder, there are 2 more clips that we have to undo. I have a panel here that's missing. It's like a little pocket. Either way, open that up, and there's going to be 2 10mm bolts right behind it. Remove both. There are 2 more up top. Now this entire unit can be removed, and it will expose these 2 clips. This one's already loose. That's nice. So is this one. Now you can lift this up, pull it out. Pull straight back as you lift up, and there you go. You have access to the backside of your engine. Next, unplug your mass airflow sensor, lift up on this little tab, pull back on the connector, and it should pop right out. And I want to peel back the insulation that is here. So I'm going to remove the electrical tape and take this out of its harness, or out of the sheeting that it's in. There we go. Some more electrical tape. We'll remove this as well. Now we have the wires exposed, and we can take our new harness. You can see the new one doesn't have colored wires. Also, I should mention, why would you want to replace this? Well, it gets very hot in here, and maybe this is melted. Maybe you have corrosion built up in here. Maybe you have other issues and you need to replace the harness. So because this is not colored, we can't match them up by the color, but what we can do is take one wire at a time and connect them that way. Now this is pretty long. We don't need this much wire, so I'm going to trim it back, otherwise we'll have a lot of excess wire buildup in here, and that's not good. I'm going to trim these back about this much. We don't need all that much wire. So what I did is I trimmed it at different lengths. What that's going to do is it's going to allow me to put the connectors at different points. That way you don't have one very large area full of connectors in here. I can basically stagger them at different lengths. So I'm going to cut this pigtail off one wire at a time. So now I'm going to start with the closest connection, which is going to be this wire right here. I'm going to connect this one first, and then I'll adjust the length of these wires accordingly afterwards. So let's peel off the insulation. So I have here some wire strippers. I'm just going to use these to peel off the insulation. You can also use the manual kind that just pinches on the wire and you pull on it by hand. I'm going to do the same over here. Like I said, I'm starting with the shortest wire. Go ahead and slide your connector onto this wire. We'll go ahead and crimp it. Oh yeah, slide it in all the way. Put your crimpers on and squeeze. Okay, that is a good connection, nice and tight. Now we'll repeat the process. I accidentally trimmed this one too short, so I'm gonna have to use the same length wire here, but we can stagger this third one. So same thing, let's peel back the insulation. It's all crimped. Now we have to shrink it. For me, these are heat shrink connectors, so I'm going to take my lighter. You can use a heat gun. That's usually better so that you don't burn the wire. But use whatever you have and shrink this down so you can have a nice protected connection. So with these heat shrink connectors, the way they work is when you see a little bit of gel looking substance like that, that's the heat shrink melting onto the wire. That's how you know that you've shrunk it fully and it has sealed up 100%. Now I'll put this back in here. There we go. So the point of staggering the connections is to prevent this from happening. Unfortunately, I accidentally cut this too short, so these two are right next to each other, but we'll wrap this in some electrical tape and then we'll plug it in. There we go. There's our new connector. Let's plug it in. There we go. All right, it's connected. Let's put the cover back on for the engine. It should just slide right in, but of course be careful of any wires that are hanging down. I'm not sure if these were supposed to be tied up here or if someone has added these, but if you have them, make sure they're out of the way. And if you don't, well, don't worry about it. So just slide it. Make sure that this rubber seal here doesn't pop off. It can easily fall and then it doesn't make a seal. You get water, potentially exhaust fumes in here. It's not good. So slide it in all the way and make sure that it lines up with its points where it clips in. Looks like I have to shift it to the driver's side a little bit. Here we go. All right. That just fell into position. Let's latch it on. Just just like that. We'll do the same on the bottom here. And of course, the same on the driver's side. Don't forget about this air vent that goes in here. Just slide it in. It has these little pins that kind of help it stay in place. Let's put the cup holder back. It's got 4 10mm bolts. Line it up. And we'll go ahead and start these in. There are 2 on the bottom. And a little bit harder to see, but there are 2 on the top here. Let's see if I can start them in like this. Okay, snug them up. Typically you'd have another pocket or a compartment that latches in here. Mine is completely broken off and I don't have it, but obviously if you have yours, go ahead and put it back. Let's put this knee panel on the passenger side. It's got clips along the top that need to slide into these slots here. Okay, and then 2 10mm bolts on the bottom. That's 1. That's 2. Same on the driver's side, clips all along the top. And 2 10mm bolts that hold it on the bottom. Somewhere. Here they are. All right, let's put the seats back. Let's bring the seats back and line them up with their corresponding mounting studs. Oops, make sure you don't pinch any wiring. And drop it down. Let's put the nuts on. There's 1 on each corner. Let's bottom them out. Make sure they're nice and tight. All right. Okay, last one out of the 4. Again, there's 1 on each corner. Make sure they are all nice and tight. All right, let's do the same to the passenger side if you took both seats out. And don't forget about these little covers. Put those back to hide the bolts, or the studs. Last bolt on the passenger side. Again, 4 on each corner. Make sure they are nice and tight. Okay, this one unfortunately didn't have any little caps for me, but at this point, you can go ahead and turn on the engine, take it for a road test.